The qualification came. The confidence didn't. And that is the gap right there, right? And this is the real problem. This is episode 2 of the Power Code series. And today we are moving into the second one, which is all for ownership. And in episode 1, we looked at perception. And it is the story that we tell ourselves about what had happened, right? And we ended up with a question. Like one of the questions was like, what would the version of you that you are becoming actually believes in that situation, right? The question that is easy to ask. And what is harder is leaving it. Because today we get to talk about that part, the actual cost of something, claiming the answer of the question we've asked in episode 1. So before anyone like confirms that, yeah, this is you or this is about you, this is about ownership, what we get to talk about today, the ownership. And I want to tell you, for me, one of the biggest shifts in my entire life, right? And that happened long before I got qualified as a sign language interpreter. I was already told that I couldn't be one because I was dyslexic, right? So that conversation already happened. And I could not be an interpreter, right? And I had to start questioning, it made me question everything. Question whether all the work that I was doing was worth it at all. Questioning whether me trying to be something that I could never actually be. All that started like happening. So I remember talking to my husband about it, right? I wasn't actually talking about it. I was just miserable. I was just passing on the aggro to everyone around me because to me, I was like, okay, I haven't like I can't be this interpreter, right? So I already paid it for the year, so I might as well just do this thing. But in that decision was this conflict and the questions happening and the misery that was going on. So in part of this, he said something that caught me off guard, like one of this my moods, right? He said, "You don't have to make this about you. Like, if you have to quit, quit. Like, just go do something else. We'll be fine. Like, you just get to stop." Right? And there was no pressure in his voice. It was just kind of like, look, you are just as miserable and it's affecting the rest of us. And it wasn't like disappointment. It wasn't that he was just giving like permission. Like, no, he just said, look, permission to walk away from this thing if you need it, because this is not the life. And around that same time when we were having like that conversation happened, Michael Jackson came to town. He was being interviewed, and I saw him being interviewed in one of these shows in the newscast, and he was talking about his tour that he was about to do called "This Is It." I don't remember what was said in that thing. All I remember when he said "This is it," I do not know fully why, but something about those words, "This is it," stayed with me, and I remember thinking, "Oh gosh, this is it for me too." Well, oh my gosh, yeah, I don't know how, but I'm going to do this. I'm going to be that interpreter, is what I said to myself in that moment. I don't know what this gets to look like. I was told I can't be this. I don't know how long it's going to take, but I know I am going to be that interpreter, was what I said to myself. And here is the strange part. Absolutely nothing changed that day when I said that to myself. Nothing changed. And I did not suddenly become qualified. I did not like now the confidence, like, yes, I've got this. I did not suddenly stop being dyslexic either. The circumstances stayed exactly the same way. The only thing that changed was the way I saw myself moving forward. That was the only thing that changed. I stopped waiting for someone else to tell me if I could or could not do this. I decided on that day. I decided that that it wasn't about waiting or like I needed a proof. It's not that the decision I made didn't then become proof that yes, this is going to happen. Me making that decision didn't mean I was guaranteed to be an interpreter. And I did not, neither did the doubt that I had disappeared in that moment. It came in spite of all of those things, you see. This is what ownership actually is. It is not the absence of fear, nor is it the arrival of confidence. It is not. It is the decision to claim the identity before like anything shows up. Moving from, oh, I hope I could do this. I hope I'm that kind, I can be that, to no, to someone who trusts that I'm becoming that kind of interpreter. That was it. Right now, not when the qualification arrives, not when the feeling arrives. Now, the decision was then, right? Perception, which you talked about yesterday, asked you the question of your story you're telling. Now, ownership is asking you to do something about it. Do something much harder. If you act as if this new story, like act this new story is actually true before you fully believe it. I started had to start acting. I am that interpreter before I became the interpreter. And that feeling is risky because what if you claim it and then you get it wrong, right? I get it. And what if you say it? Oh, I'm going to be that interpreter. I'm going to be this. I'm going to do that. And then you freeze in the assignment after saying that. And what if you now, if you own your voice and someone challenges it? And here's what I want you to understand. Ownership is not the same as certainty. You can own an identity and still feel afraid, right? You can claim something and still do not have proof yet. Ownership simply means you stop outsourcing the decision to someone else. That's it. You stop it because that is what most of us are doing. And I want to show you exactly what that gets to look like. This is not theory. In your actual week, the assignment ends. You did fine. You know you did fine. And you're still waiting. Waiting for that agency to say, oh, great feedback. The client was happy. Da, da, da. Waiting for the client to rebook you. Waiting for someone, anyone, to hand you the proof that you're actually good at this. And until that proof arrives, you don't quite believe it, right? And that's the waiting. That is not patience. That is you handing your identity to someone else and asking, oh, did I nail it? For them to give it back to you. Whatever, that's the bit they ever get around to doing it. And then you're waiting for the qualification body to tell you you're ready. You're waiting for the client to say, oh, you're good enough. Yes, you're fine. And then we wait and wait for the feeling of confidence to arrive before we now let ourselves call it what it is. Right? And that's the most dangerous part is waiting. It is not imposter syndrome itself. It is a habit of outsourcing who you are to other people. It's confirmation. Because that confirmation may never come, you see. It may never come. Not because you are not capable. I want you to understand that. But because nobody else is responsible of telling you you are allowed to become. You're allowed. That decision has always belonged to you. It is yours to give you. For me, looking back now, I think I had been waiting for a feeling. I was waiting to feel ready. I was waiting to feel certain. The feeling never came. Not before that decision. Everything I did else followed after. You see the confidence? Yeah, after. The certainty? After. The sense of belonging in the room? Yes, all of it came after I had decided who I was going to be, not before. That's ownership gets to look like. So here is the one thing to try before, as you carry on with this series, because this is the ownership, an ownership statement. Not, oh, I hope I can be that interpreter. Not, or maybe one day I will trust myself to be like, I'll be okay. No, this is what I want you to try instead. I am becoming the kind of interpreter who trusts themselves. You get to say that to self. Say it even if it feels untrue. Feel it in it. Say it even if you're like, whatever. You get to say that to self, because that is exact point. It is not describing where you are right now. That's not what we're doing. We are claiming where you are going and who you already are. And the qualification gets to catch up. Gets to catch up. Confidence gets to catch up. You get to decide first. But none of it starts until you do that. Decide. Nobody is going to give you permission to own the room. Not the qualification, not the client, not your colleagues, not even the confidence itself. The permission was always yours to give you. And the moment you decide, even before the feeling is ready, even before you have a clue about it, that is where everything begins. And in episode 3, we move on to the wiring, right? Because deciding who you are becoming is only the beginning, right? Your nervous system is still learning to believe this new thing we're claiming on. And the episode will be linked in the description box below. And if this landed in any way for you, download the free Interpreter Identity Audit, also in the description box below. And if you're ready to do the work properly, the identity yeah, the identity research for interpreters waiting list is open now. And yes, we get to do this for real and really work on self. I am Nene, and we do this every single day because your voice matters and it is your time to use it. Go own it, go decide, go do you. Bye for now.